Good morning. We are live. We should be live. We are ready for the day. We are ready for the day. We got our coffee and our water. And we also have the quote of the day. So let's see what it is. Let's see what the quote of the day is. Today's quote of the day is, "You are not sick. You are just in a temporary out of order mode. Reboot and come back stronger." I'm not sick today, so luckily this does not apply to me. But anyways, anyways, we got the setup going. The vibes are flowing. Let's check out the pre-market. All right, so the pre-market brief, 4:30. Dead quiet overnight, no signal, no edge, stand aside. Hop setup, MES, no setup. Prices stuck between. All right, let's check this out. Let's check out MES. Ooh, looks like we can have a nice setup today. Say that would be our range. This is the magnet. So yeah, the magnet for price would be up here. Price magnet. Yeah, price is already going there right now. So we'll just have to wait and see. No news today. Let's check out MNQ. MNQ had a gap. Who are the leaders for today? Looks like gold and M and Q. How about gold? I want to see what gold is looking like. Key levels. Gold has some move to run higher today. It's possible. Gold has that potential for a breakout higher. Can we get there? I don't know. It's possible gold can look something like this. I think that today we should be trading gold and M and Q. That's on my hit list for today, gold and M and Q. Finish out marking these levels. Prior day low. So I don't know, we'll have to watch gold and NQ today. Those are my primary targets for today. Just to see how price moves and which direction we'll go for today. But besides that, now we wait.
markets, to be exact. Bitcoin is. We're going to.
Before we move on,
Making its way.
we need to set our risk limits for the day. Set our risk limits. Start live stream, set list limits. Also, we need to read our pre-market trading mantra so we can remind ourselves about the important parts of trading. So my trading mantra reads. Wait, let me just make sure you can hear me. Hello? I think the audio is working. Yeah, most definitely it's working. Hello? Yeah, okay, it's working. Trading mantra is reposted in the chats again today. I'm a winner, but I recognize and respect that I have the potential to lose a lot of money today. That's why I will make today's number one priority to not lose more than my defined maximum risk, which is 750. My only job is to manage risk and allow my profits to take care of themselves. The market is irrational and unpredictable. It will go lower than I think and higher than I expect. I recognize this constant unpredictability by staying humble. I respect the market today, no matter how good or bad yesterday was. One day can't make me rich, but one day can make me poor. One day at a time. That is that beautiful trading mantra. So we've read that. And now we can watch these.
Back to at least the midpoint of this swing, given the failed breakout, given what I mentioned on trades of the week and beyond Bitcoin yesterday. And I think we are on our way there with this initial bounce coming off the area I'd marked out previously on the weekend. I did open a long there, but closed it after the initial reaction. Initial reaction was nothing special. 74 wasn't holding, and we were flipping that from a support into a resistance. Mentioned after that we could see a bounce to 74.5 or 75 max. We got 75 and a wick beyond. I think that's probably it for this move. Lower time frame, if this is going to be making a move lower today or tomorrow, then we'll likely come back and retest this area that we've been in. But the movement of the market, the flows and everything lining up does seem to be pointing in one direction, which would be an eventual break of this floor. If this price floor can't hold, then we should see a breakdown into the 70s, or the low 70s, I should say. Be an eventual break of this floor. If this price floor can't hold, then we should see a breakdown into the 70s, or the low 70s, I should say, from the mid 70s. So it creates a pretty easy market to watch at the moment. I think we'll be continually back at this level a few times, not dissimilar to what we had over here. And if we're going to go up, just expect price to be stubborn around those lows. And if it is, that's a good sign that we can move up and attack the highs from Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, and a lot of the inefficiencies above, all the way up to imbalances at the highs on the 4 hour and of course the high itself. So it would just look like very similar to what we had over here, where the prior support gets defended. Of course, sweeps, dips below, all in play, but not breaking 73k on a close basis would be what you'd want to see price doing over the next 24 hours or so. And anything outside of that that shows weakness beneath it would be a sign of lower. And that would be my first expectation, or primary expectation, is that we'll probably build back down here and consolidate before dropping below but coming back up for a retest and then lower. I think it will be both, because normally at these big levels, when you see price with a pretty clear support, you want it to either hold it, make its way up like that, or break it nice and clean, flip it to resistance and down it goes. We'll probably get a little bit of both. So I would be of the view that coming back in here, we lose it and we reclaim it, and we lose it again, and it stops being an SR, and we more so flip above and below it a few times, back into the 75 resistance probably, before eventually making the drop to the most probable area, which would be this big pool of liquidity that must be resting below 70.5 and into the 70k area itself. Where we created that low on the Thursday, we come back on the weekend, on the Sunday, and didn't sweep it. We actually held at that level. And then the gap, of course, all the way through. That'll either get swept or run through, depending on how price moves into it. I think that's the ultimate target you want to be looking at for this move overall, which would take us, in terms of a retracement of the move we just had, right into that area, 0.618, so as a deeper pullback of the prior swing, but not out of the realm of possibility for a continuation move towards the highs again. A lot of it depends again on how we get there in terms of the corrective move. In this case, faster is probably better. So we've had a slow move up, steady build. A sharper move down would be likely fear-driven and give a good dip to buy. So that would look like the sharpest move coming almost right away. Would probably need a pretty bearish New York session today for equities, deeper sell-off, or just Bitcoin to start breaking through some of those levels and tearing its way all the way down in a fast move where it looks like it's going to crash. But that can be very similar in effect to some of the best trends, which build and build and build. And so positioning builds up and you get a wipe, and then you continue on in direction of trend with it taking out some of that liquidity in between. That would be one of the paths I would see that I'd be interested in for the long side. So we'll see those couple different. I'll drop it out onto a 4 hour actually, because I think that that's what we're going to be doing here, is trading through this area like that, with the view of course that any moves back below might get that choppiness around the 73k area itself. So just watching that as an alternative third path, which I'll just drag it there as you can see it. So bold path, we hold at this support with sweeps potentially. Bear path, we tear tear down through everything, which would give a good dip buy in the 70 or below 70. And the chop path would turn this 73 into a it's over, we're back, down as low as it was in the 72s, back up to 75s, maybe extending towards a retest of the 76 breakout swing high that we failed, our main swing high failure there, and that daily high that was touched, and the trap above, which we have retested. We've hit it once, we've swept above, trapped longs above there and back below with a retest. So anything starting to close back through 76 would be signs of strength. Everything else beyond that would be lower. Stocks in the overnight, gap lower and not filling the gap so far. Indications here, all indications are this move is probably over, judging by the pre-market move so far. I would expect, first of all, of course, the move just by itself is, in fact, it should be over here. The move by itself is at an extreme and has been for quite a while now. We have it in regular hours. Taking off that, there we go. We have a 1 hour trend that's been developing throughout the main session with an unbroken higher highs, higher lows, respective trend. Coming in now to the beginning of the week and off the weekly open, for the second week in a row, we've gapped lower, like we did on Monday of last week. That one was bought straight up and held the New York session, then was the sign pushing into it and through it, reclaimed the gap, dip buy at support, perfect place for the buyers to show up after recovery off the lows, nice consolidation, first impulse into the weekend, on the Tuesday with the ceasefire news, first dip getting bought, first gap up getting bought. Then we've had the chasing move, we've had the put call ratio get those extremes. Main thing, exhaustion of the entire final push. That's what we did not have here. Over here we had the large impulse that held, consolidation for multiple days. The gap over the weekend was just taking out the lows. It was coming from a swing high to a swing low, whereas this was an exhaustive move, which this would likely be a right shoulder of that before lower. That'd be the expectation here, would be probably a push higher in New York Open, but down after. And from there, we then move into downwards directional, but within a higher time frame consolidation. And until, you've got a massive swing leg, of which your pullback levels can be anything. Even just reasonable pullbacks. A 50% pullback on this move would be a huge move lower. That would be retracing all the way back to the ceasefire level. I don't think if the market's bullish, we don't see that at any point soon or even close to it. Expectation would be that we pull somewhere back below 7,000, but not significantly so, and it takes a little bit more time as well, where we drop, but dips get bought up, and we drop, and we drop, and we see more of a corrective like that, where it's choppy and messy, but it allows the market to catch up. It allows some of the top buyers to get flushed out and some demand to fill in underneath it.